Hey, welcome to Vlogmas 2020. It's Noble Bowman, and I am going to start a new short series here called Story Time. I'm going to tell some crazy things that have happened in my life, and one of them is a story about why I have 5 metal plates and 23 screws in this side of my face. Hey. So it's the summer of 2002, Boulder, Colorado. I've taken a group of about 40 college students from the University of Central Arkansas up to Boulder for a 9-week summer leadership intensive. So we go up, rent a fraternity house, and the students would get jobs during the day. On nights and weekends, we would just do a bunch of leadership focused, intensive type work. And the weekends, it was a blast. Well, one of the weekends that was our off weekend and we didn't have a bunch of stuff planned, I got a group of guys together and decided we were going to go mountain biking. Now, let me just say, if you've never mountain bike, it's probably a good thing to start at a little smaller pace than what I did that day, because we decided to load up our bikes and head off to Winter Park, Colorado. So it's about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive, I guess. And we went over to Winter Park. And the cool thing is, when you get to Winter Park, you can put your bikes on the gondolas and ride the gondola up to the top of the mountain. And then all you got to do is ride down the mountain on your bikes. Now, when we stopped to check in and get our tickets to ride the gondolas, they asked us if we needed helmets. And I'm like, no, I've got a helmet. I had one of those that you buy and ride around here when you're just riding down the Greenway Trail in Springfield, Missouri, just the little top helmets. And so anyway, we decided to take off. We get our bikes, we get to the top of the mountain. And the first time down the mountain, we are like just hauling it, and everybody's right by each other, and we keep bumping into each other because somebody would stop or get into a turn. I didn't know where to go, and so it was a little touch and go. I mean, it was fun, but it was a little touch and go. So the second time, we decided, hey, let's pace ourselves out a little bit, and everybody put some space between us and the person in front of us, and we'll just meet up at the bottom of the mountain. So I think I was third in the line. There were 5 of us, so 2 more behind me. And we take off down the mountain. And I'm just going to be honest with you, I am going for it. I am pedaling downhill as fast as my little legs will carry me. Mind you, I'm not on a super great mountain bike. I'm on one that probably was bought at Walmart. And I'm wearing my cheap little helmet, but I'm having a blast until about 2/3 of the way down the mountain. And I come into this clearing that's out across a ski trail. And as I come into the clearing, I mean, I look, and it looks like one of those spaces for speed, so I'm just getting at it. And as I get into the clearing, there's a slight turn. And I realize that I am on the outside of the turn in some loose gravel. And that's really the last thing I remember about riding my bike that day. Because when I woke up, I have this tendency to reach up and touch my face. Anytime I get hurt, that's just I just do that. Well, this time when I reached up and touched my face, my hand did a little concave thing because, well, I had a full orbital blowout. So I just passed back out. I don't know how long I laid there, but when I woke up again, I could see bones sticking out of my knee. So I just passed back out. In the meantime, the 2 guys that were behind me gets to the bottom of the mountain, and there's 4 of them, and they realize that I'm not there, so they're looking for me. And after a few minutes, they start going to the restroom. They go to this shop, they go to that shop, and I'm not anywhere to be found. So they start panicking, and they decide the best thing for them to do is to come back up the trail and try to find me. In the meantime, I'm laying about 20, 30 feet off the side of the trail down on a bed of rocks. And I came to once, and my arm, this left arm, was twisted back up behind my head because it was broke here. So I just passed back out. And then I heard something. I heard somebody, a voice that was kind of familiar, yelling for me, Noble, where are you? And then I heard one of them say, here he is. Oh no, he looks dead. So I just passed back out. Well, eventually there's a bunch of them there, and they're trying to get me to calm down because when I wake up, I'm trying to get up and move around, and I'm a mess. I have a complete, as I said, orbital blowout. My eyeballs is barely hanging in there, and it's not looking good. So they have to get me down off the mountain on one of those big gurneys, those big stretchers that's on a big ball wheel. They tried to figure out how to land a helicopter, and there wasn't a space, so it just get me down to the bottom of the mountain to the ski patrol area. So ski patrol's helping get me down. So they get me down to the base of the camp, and the clinic there, all they do is sew up my knee, and they prep me for transport to Denver. So I'm going to ride an ambulance to Denver. In the meantime, one of the guys decides he should probably call my wife, right? Well, that morning when we left to go mountain biking, I called my wife and said, hey, I'm going mountain biking. And she said, well, don't call me if you get hurt. Well, they didn't know that, but when they called and he said, hey, Kisa, I want you to know Noble had a mountain bike wreck and he's hurt really bad, she thought it was a joke because she had said, don't call me. So I get in the ambulance, I ride to Denver. I don't remember anything about the ride to Denver. I don't remember much about being in the Denver hospital that night, except for I kept waking up in so much pain. And finally, they notified me that they had done all the x-rays and stuff and that I had to go into surgery the next morning, first thing, before my wife could even get there. So she ended up realizing it was true and tried to get on a plane to fly back to Colorado to be with me. So what they had ended up doing, and fortunately, the surgeon that they had to call in because they were overbooked, they had to call in an off-duty surgeon, and he was a new graduate and had the newest, best technologies. And so he literally cut right here underneath my eye and right above my eye, and then went inside my mouth to go up inside here and fit me with metal plates and screws and all that kind of stuff and wire my mouth shut. So this is a crazy story. So I try to find a moral in every tale, right? The moral of this tale is that if your wife says don't do something, she might, just might, have a good reason that you shouldn't do it. Today, I walk around, I'm normal, I look just fine. Thankfully, I had a great surgeon. But, yeah, she don't let me go mountain biking anymore. That's for sure. Hey, thanks for listening today. Tomorrow, I got another crazy story. I'm going to tell you about the time that I ran over my wife with a car. And the crazy thing is, we're still married. We've been married for 30-something years. And a long time ago, I ran over her with a car during a fight one night. So check that out tomorrow. Hey, if you would for me, real quick, down here somewhere, there's a subscribe button and a like button. If you'll click those, I'd really appreciate that. And then there's probably going to be a little bell that pops up. If you'll ring that bell, it just lets you get notified next time I go live and or post a video. So thanks so much for watching tonight. Tomorrow night, a little bit more story time.